Hi, welcome to the River News. I'm Lisa Piper, your local news journalist with only good news. It won't be that long today, but I do want to tell you some incredible things coming up and some cool testimonies. The first thing is we had an amazing service yesterday. And I want to tell you a story about we had, I think, several salvations yesterday morning. Pastor didn't even get to the message on faith that he planned, but people still activated their faith to get saved. And one of them was a woman, I didn't know her, but she came up to be born again. And it happens to be that several months ago, she saw Pastor Paul in a store and he invited her to services. She came last week and then came this week, and God transformed her life. Isn't that a cool story? Then there was a woman who had come to the one-day deliverance conference in March, and she came up for prayer, and God moved, and she said, I didn't even realize it. I think this is how this goes, that she used to have voices that were just so aggressive that they hurt in her head. And she said, I just realized the pain is gone, the voices and the pain of the voices. So I'm planning on getting her on for an interview so you could hear her whole incredible testimony. It's pretty cool. So that's two things that happened. Other people responding to what God was doing. And then last night, God did it again. Bishop Lance Johnson preached an amazing message. He started talking about revival and how, and it's important in this season not to have your name in lights, but he asked the church if it was okay if we could just be like some kindling that starts a fire and nobody ever knows where the fire came from. And I was like, yeah, that would be perfect. I love that. So before the service, Amber started her Set Yourself Free class. It's packed to capacity, and they had a good first one. If you haven't had that class, let us know and we'll get you hooked up with the next one. But there was a man in there who said that he would read his word at night, and he loved the Lord, but every time he went to share the gospel, he wanted to, he just didn't have the power to do that. When he would do it, he would get frustrated. He wouldn't be able to talk. And then last night during the altar service, he was so filled with the Holy Ghost and power that it transformed even his appearance. It was amazing. Amber was super excited. So we watched that happen. And then we didn't think we were going to have any baptisms, but a woman from Muhlenberg County came to be baptized. I'm so excited about this. I won't say any of her testimony because there's parts of it that are just dark and traumatic. But when she got into the pool, she just told Pastor Clint, I want God just to take it all, which is huge. For this woman, is huge. Well, I talked to her after she was baptized, and she's like, I just feel this joy. And the lady that she came with that's ministered to her for years with no fruit whatsoever. So just like when I told you, Pastor Paul months ago had invited this woman to church, suddenly she starts thinking she needs to come. He doesn't even know her, doesn't even remember this, and she gets saved. This lady had been ministering forever, and now is the season of the harvest. Her friend comes. Now, she said all the way here, it was like, you don't need to go, turn back, turn around. But the woman was determined she was getting here. And then she was determined she's getting in the pool. And after the pool, she said, I feel such joy. Well, today, I got this testimony sent to me, and I'm not going to read all of it because there's a bad word in it. But it says, when they drove home, the woman was driving home, and she just, as normal, she lit a cigarette, and she said it was the most disgusting thing she had ever tasted, and she had to throw it out. For this woman, this is huge. Then she said her fella the next morning, he was saying the D word. Now, this comes from a family that has lots of colorful language. And the woman who was baptized, she said, "Do you have to cuss so much?" And then she couldn't believe that even came out of her mouth. It's not normal. She said that when I said for God to take everything, he took everything. And the woman told me she is witnessing. This man she was with called and said, "I can't believe the changes in her." And so my friend told him, "Come on to service tonight and God will set you free." I have tons of these testimonies just from the weekend of what God did. And so there are people coming tonight to be set free. Bishop will be back tonight at 7:00. Oh, guess what's happening? We've got a great worship set. Pastor Kim Menser is going to be leading the set tonight, I think, and with her team. But she has Abigail from Colton's fiance, and she leads worship all over the nation. She's going to be coming in and joining in with the set. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So we've got the class started, services, what happened last night. And now let me tell you about some things coming up. First of all, Harvest Now. If you haven't been praying for that, you need to, because it is actually the harvest. What I've just been saying are like foreshadowing maybe of what's about to come. On April 23rd, 24th, and 25th, if you know somebody lost, you need to be praying for them, first of all. Some of the things you can pray is ask the Lord to remove the blinders, because the Bible talks about Satan, blinding. So remove the blinders and ask the Lord to give them eyes to see and ears to hear, to shine his light and his goodness so that they'll comprehend that. Begin praying that, invite them, and pray for other people that are coming. And so Bishop Lance Johnson's going to be doing that. We're going to have a different worship team. I don't know about every night, but I think we're going to give the River team a break, and some of his teams coming from Georgia, and maybe some other teams going to be coming in. Now, we may have a fusion blend with some of our musicians working. I don't know, but that's what's coming up. Harvest Now, April 23rd and 25th. Then we have the one-day intense worship. Now, if you want, I'm trying to think how, if you go to our website, totheriver.com, you should be able to click on the link. And I'm trying to think if it's totheriver.com/worship. I should know this, and I can't think of it. But those of you that are involved in a worship team, singers, vocalists, which are the same thing, musicians, if you're interested in worship, Matthew and Emma Back, who are on staff at the ramp, they are going to be putting this on. So what people would learn at the ramp, it's an intensive one day. And so you'll come in on May the 20th, do this intensive worship study, Q&A, that kind of thing, on that Saturday. And then that night, open to everyone, is a magnificent worship service here at the River. So, but folks that are planning on coming, there's no cost to it, but you do need to get signed up for that. For our ladies, we're having, I think it's May the 13th, even though my notes say the 12th. We are having a mother-daughter and friend banquet. You don't have to bring your mom, bring your daughter, or a friend, but you can bring any of those. But you do need to sign up, and you can text for either one of those events. If you want the link of how to register, just text to 270-339-4410. Now, I'm going to repeat that number, give you time to get your notes out on your phone or write it down, because you can call and ask us or text us any kind of question. 270-339-4410. You can say, "Hey, Lisa, how do I get rid of fear? Hey, Lisa, how do I register for the mother-daughter friend banquet?" Anything like that, you can text to that number. I don't know that people utilize it enough. If you get saved and you're like, "Hey, what do I do next?" Text it to that number, 270-339-4410, and we will get back to you. It's a good texting number. And then I have another super cool announcement. The next one-day deliverance conference is scheduled for August the 12th. And since you're here on the news, I'm going to give you a couple little tidbits. I'm looking to see if somebody answered me. He didn't answer me. So I'll have to wait for the news next week to give you one piece of important information. But let me tell you what's coming up for the one-day deliverance conference. August the 12th. It will be from 9 to 4 o'clock. We have taken all of the feedback and we're going to make it even better. But I'm going to do a session starting out on healing and deliverance. If you need to be healed or have someone you know that needs to be healed, but you think it's possibly related to a spirit of infirmity, have them sign up. And you sign up by going to totheriver.com/one day, the number one and day, totheriver.com/one day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach on that, and then I'm going to pray, and we're going to command infirmity go and get people healed. And then Amber's going to be talking about, it's called, It's Not a Demon. She's going to talk to you about how people get confused with thinking something is demonic when it's not, how to tell the difference and that kind of thing. So that's Amber. And then she's going to do a cool Q&A right after that. And then if you see that picture of my sweet friend, Apostle Kevin Bailey, I'm so excited. He's coming in from Indianapolis, Indiana. And he is doing a session called The Demonic and Pornography. So I'm excited for him to do that. He has an international ministry. He ministers international every day. He's been all over the world doing deliverance. And honestly, if I have a case that is, I'm like, I'm not sure about this. I don't drive him nuts, but I don't think I do. But I will give him a buzz and say, hey, Apostle, this is an issue that I've got going on, and what do you think about it? And he just always knows. I don't know how that is. So I'm very thankful that he's going to get to come to that conference. So there you all get the skivvy, and you can already pre-register. Now, the registration's free, totheriver.com/one day, but we will have food coming later on. So if you want to order a t-shirt or if you want to order lunch for that day, I'll send you out an email closer to the date after you register. But just registering gets the information there. Now, the first 120 registrants will actually get the student classroom seating. After that, we will probably accept another 100, and that will go in the wing seating. So anyway, we want everybody can come. And then Pastor or Apostle Kevin is going to be praying for people to be set free. We're going to have a Q&A that day as well. I wasn't ready. I thought the last conference we would just do teaching all day. People came to be set free, so we added that. So I don't like things being longer than I say it's going to be. But that happened last time because people end up staying and getting set free, or we were talking, answering questions and that kind of thing. So we're going to do it better every time. All right. I also want to give a big thank you to everyone who did the carpet, the painting. Have you guys seen the church? If you haven't been to the river in a while, you probably want to stop by. Now, I want to give a shout out to somebody who I know wants to be at the river, but hasn't been able to because of how they're feeling. And that is my good friend, Brother Don Allen, and my wonderful friend, Miss Frances Allen. I love you guys and I miss you, but wait till you walk back in here. Brother Don, your mouth's going to drop open because it doesn't even look like the same church. And the size of it even looks different because of the carpet. So God did some major things in providing carpet for us, and we're so excited about that. So come out and check it out if you haven't. I'm telling you, from the cafe, the prayer room, and right now, actually, what's being worked on is our fellowship hall. It's actually still in process. Pastor Bernie comes by and he does he's like the little finishing touch guy, finishing the touches around here after everybody's working and sometimes while they're working. Let's see. We finish up the book of Acts tomorrow. Now, this Wednesday, we're going to be doing a focus prayer. If you didn't get to come last Wednesday, I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. Colton did some worship while Pastor brought just a brief message, and then we went into prayer. It was so sweet, such a good presence of the Lord. Hey, you know what? I come to think of it, that may be the precursor for all the miracles that we just had happen this last weekend. Let's make this scientific. We'll check it out. We're going to pray hard this week. We're going to pray on Wednesday night, and we'll see what God does again next Sunday. I think there's a link between the power of God moving and prayer. I just think there might be. Also, I got to talk to a great friend today, Linda Hatfield. I don't know if you're watching, but I miss your face. She's moved out of town, but I wait till you come back in and see the river. You're going to love the changes. It looks really great. So prayer this Wednesday at 7. And then we have prayer on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. I also want to tell you there's no women's meeting this month. We could not fit it in April, but we are having the big banquet that happens in May. One more thing, and I will get off of here. The Damascus Roadhouse. What God is doing with the teenagers is amazing. Pastor Joanne and her team, they are training. I've never seen youth more excited to serve God. And so they meet Wednesday at 7 o'clock. I think they start feeding them like at 5:30 to 6:45. And then they have their own service. And then 2 times a month, I think they have a service on Friday. These kids are getting so equipped. Some of them are going out and ministering at other youth groups, and God is setting other teenagers free. It is amazing. So if you don't get it, if you're not 12 to senior, or you don't have kids, make sure you're praying for that team and praying for those kids, because it's nothing other than miraculous what's going on. Okay, you all have a blessed Monday. Come back here at 3 o'clock. I believe Pastor and Bishop are going to be doing Pastors Connect, and then tonight, see you at Revival at 7 o'clock.